Hello, YouTube. This thing's called How Bad is Music Today? How bad is music today really? You go on YouTube and you go on a search for music sucks, and you're bound to get about 20,000 videos that talk about how music today is not as good as it used to be. And both sides of the argument are pretty okay. For one thing, you have the videos that come out and say, well, rap music is bad because it's dying, or it's dead, or it's in a comatose state, or some sort of strange analogy. And emo music is garbage, and rock music is just power chords over and over again with grim messages of doom, and they go on and on. But the responses to those are the ones I like the best. They usually say things like, well, rap music isn't so bad because 20 years ago, blah, 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 blah. And rock music is still okay because Aerosmith 20 years ago, Rolling Stones 30, 40 years ago, blah, 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 blah. Emo music isn't so bad because 15 years ago, blah, 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 blah. They relate the old to the new to try to make some sort of statement. And both sides are okay, like I say, because they're really not getting to the problem. They're okay because they speak their mind, and it's free country, they have the right to. But the problem is, all they're really doing, all they're really good at, is comparing. That's all they know, and that's all that most people today think about, is comparing one thing to another when it comes to music. If it's not something that my friends and I liked when we were little, well, that goes into the bad pile. And if it does sound a little bit like it, well, I can kind of validate it in some sort of way. But does that really get us anywhere? What do we do when we have an ever-changing musical form that every half a generation turns into something totally different, like rock, like rap, like jazz, like pop, all these things? What do we do with that? Well, the best thing to do is to stop comparing. The best thing to do is to look at the messages that are actually being displayed. That's where you get the meat of the problem. In every form of lifestyle that you got, you have things that you need and understand. Music is one of those strange things that you need, but people don't usually understand it when they get it. They just feel it and they accept it. And that's all they know. Which is okay up to a point where you have people in very high positions that tell you what to like, and tell you what is cool, and tell you what the latest song is and why you should buy 16 copies of it. That's where you end up with a problem. The question, though, has music really changed? The job of music is to tell that which the majority of a population, or at least a section of it that it's being designed for, speaks to that group and tells that group things that it didn't know about itself. I think music is still doing that, unfortunately. Music is being a mirror, just like it always has been. And I think it's reflecting some things we don't like. And I think that it's hard for us to accept that, and we blame the mirror rather than blaming the image. What is it that really is being said when so much of the garbage is selling at a high rate? Are we really being duped? Is it really a conspiracy? Is it really that we are just being pawns in some sort of game? Or perhaps maybe the things spoken in these songs aren't as alien and as foreign as we'd like to think. I, for one, have never really bought into rap music in the form that we know it now. Rap music, when I was 7 years old and 8 years old, was speaking about things that were true. They were things that were going on in the urban community and were being expressed as a sort of rhythm-accompanied poetry that I coined as R-A-P, rap. I think rap is rhythm-accompanied poetry. It's poetry that has rhythm on it. That's fine. But after a while, lies started coming in. Lies about things that people wanted to believe. That's when it becomes powerful. It's not the fact that people are lying to you, it's the fact that you are willing to accept it. you're willing to accept the fact that in order to be a real African American, you need to dress a certain way, you need to talk a certain way, you need to buy certain things, you need to go certain places, you need to have certain friends, you need to not do certain things. Like act as if you are a certain other race. What does that mean? And emo went from being this expression of emotions that are driving people to misery to becoming a selling point. It became an alternative rock. What does that mean, really? Does that mean that it's the same as rock? Two negatives don't work for me. And then you have your rock music. Rock music has a long history of having a very American feeling to it. Today, the same chords over and over again? I don't think that's half the problem. You hear things in rock music today that are sometimes anti-American. Sometimes they're things that we don't like about ourselves, but we're too afraid to admit that we might be at fault for them. What does that mean? Well, all of these things mean that we're not really being very reflective. And the music is doing all the reflection for us. That's where we have a problem. We're not being in control of the music's reflective qualities. We need to change our image before we start to try to change the music. That's what I think. Now, you can respond to this any way you want. You can try to tell me all your rap history and your music history. But I'm a music teacher, okay? I know what I'm talking about. I've studied probably twice as much as half of the people that I've seen on YouTube who are not teachers, because I'm not an amateur. But if you want to debate, that's fine. What I would suggest, however, is before you buy your next copy of rap, hip-hop, and for many people it's different, jazz, pop, R&B, country, whatever you want to buy, I would suggest that you pay close attention to what you believe, and then try to figure out whether or not those beliefs are needed. Sometimes we just need to adapt to the environment that we are presented with, instead of clinging to an environment that no longer exists. So that's my take on that. Hope you have a good day.